So today is, drum rolls please, Journal Prompt Monday. As you all know, this is one of my favorite days, so I will give you journal prompts on every Monday, a journal prompt for you to write down in the journal entry section of my journal that is available on Amazon, Edify My Soul, a 30-day journey of transformation. Go onto Amazon, pick that up, and in the journal entry section, you can write the questions that I pose to you on every journal prompt Monday. So today's question is, who is the most influential person in your life and why? Who is the most influential person in your life and why? Now, this person could be passed on. This person could be, a mentor from afar. This person could be a mentor that was personally in your life. It could be a parent. It could be a boss. It could be, a family member, a church member, someone at the library that you frequently visit. So, whomever that the person is, it doesn't have to be Dr. Martin Luther King type of situation. It could be whomever has the most influence in and over, well, not over your life, but in your life, and why. So, what this will tell you once you answer that question, so I do want you to, for some, it may be a little easier to answer this question because you may have had a more prominent mentor. For some, it may have been someone that was mentoring you in a passive way. So, meaning someone who you just kind of was around and you picked up certain nuggets of wisdom just by being around that person and watching how they move, watching how they, handle stresses, um how they are in everyday life. And being around that person made a big impact on your life and the way that you move and the way that you do things, and having aspirations and goals and things of that nature. So for some, it's more of an active person. For some, it's more of a passive person. But the point was that it may not, it doesn't have to be a Maya Angelou or Martin Luther King. It doesn't have to be a big name person. This is someone who's actually, who actually had present day has an influence, the most influence in your life, and why. So what answering this question does, it does get you, to thinking about who influences the way that you think. But also, this can give you, this gives you an idea of the things that you value the most. Okay? Because the thing is that the people that are most influential in our lives, that means that they have something about them that you admire. That means that they have something about them that you think is valuable enough to pay attention to. You think that is valuable enough, that you may want to kind of rub some elbows with this person, and you may want to kind of pick up on some of their characteristics and traits, because whatever that it is very valuable. So this tells you those things that you think are valuable. So you may have some people where they may have a neighbor or that neighbor is the most influential person in their lives because they seen them that neighbor, whether it was a male or female, a man or woman, they seen them. Well, let's just say for the sake of the example, it was a male. Okay, so they seen that male playing catch with their son, and helping their daughter tie her hair bows and tie her shoes, and training the dog, and painting the outside of the house, and driving his family to church every Sunday, and going and coming to work every day, and volunteering to be over the t-ball team for that town or for that school, or whatever. So they, just by being in proximity to that person, they were able to see how that person moves, and how they maneuver through life. And they thought those were very valuable traits that that person has. So that's more of a passive influence. But then you may have a person where they actually had a mentor, someone where they, let's just say, in a church. Okay, so you may have a assistant pastor, or like a young person that is under the tutelage of the actual pastor, or under the tutelage of one of the assistant pastors or something like that. Now that's more of a direct mentor. But the thing that I want you to pay attention to is who the person is and the values that they have. Because like I said, this tells you and gives you an idea of the things that you hold as valuable. Now, the opposite side of that coin, the flip side of that coin, is you may have someone where they value their most influential person is their uncle, because they love how their uncle had a different woman every 3 years. So they thought that he was a cool dude. And then he smoked cigarettes, and he got high, and he drank beer and all the other things. So they thought that that was cool. So as you see, whomever your most influential person is, the characteristics and the traits that they have, you admire those things about that person. So you think that those characteristics and traits are valuable, and that's why they hold so much influence in your life. So part B of that question is, would you want your child to be like the person that has influence over you right now? Would you want your child to be like the person that has influence over you or in your life? Some, it may be both. So, and or. Would you want your child to be like that person? So as I said, that there's two sides to the coin. You may have some people that, the influence, is a positive influence. You may have some where it's a negative influence, but they may not see that it's a negative influence, because they just think that that person is cool, and they think that it's cool because that's what they aspire to be. They aspire to be cool, so that lets you know that their main goal is just to be cool. Everything that they aspire to be is so that they can be look and appear to be cool. So if they want a lot of money, they want all that money so that they can appear to be cool because the uncle may have had a lot of money. If they want a lot of power, they want the power because that power will help them appear to be cool. If they want a lot of women, they want the women because those women will help them to appear to be cool. For for the other person, they may, you know, want respect. They may want, to build a family. They may want to be a part of a positive community. They want to build community. So, whomever the person is that is most influential in your life will tell you what you value. Because whatever it is about that person that you admire, those are the things that you value the most. So these are just some things to kind of get your journaling. These are questions that you write down in your journal entry section of the journal, Edify My Soul, written by myself, Siobhan A. Hampton. It's available on Amazon right now. It's available in paperback and hardback. Go onto Amazon, grab a copy for yourself, grab a copy for your mother, sister, cousin, your uncle's girlfriend, wife, your friend, whomever else that you know that may be into journaling or that may be interested in beginning to journal. I think journaling is good for any and everybody. So let's make this journaling thing. Let's make this a new norm where, spread the word so that everybody can begin to journal, because journaling is really good for your mental health. It's good for, to keep you in touch with your feelings and emotions. So you'll find the link somewhere in the comment section or in the description box. But if not, then the link is always in the About section of the channel. So until next time, stay vigilant and stay blessed.